Howdy y'all, I am Ice Gold, and today I wanted to talk about the results from a poll that I did recently on the 13th, that was Sunday, where I asked y'all, how do you view the Aquila Chronicle update? And this was the Aquila update, of course, that just dropped this past week, this last Wednesday, and there's been a lot of issues that people have had with it, and chief among them is the drop rates for the new Aquila spells. And personally, as a PvPer, I think the drop rates being bad is a good thing. I think the drop rate should come down a little more, But I mean, okay, I'm not being real serious about that. I do think that Fires of Mars is going to upend the meta, and Phoebus's Will is going to really bring back jading in full force, but for all intents and purposes, nobody likes the new drop rates on the Aquila spells. People are doing these fights, and they're only getting like 3 spell elements a fight, and like, I've made videos very recently talking about how spell elements are very, very hard to obtain and hard to, max them out. And that, I think, is just this big problem. And it's like, this is the spell element issue and the, I guess, accessibility issue all wrapped into one. And I mean, I guess some people might like the new challenges of the Aquila update, and like the actual fights and whatnot, and the challenge modes I have heard are kind of interesting, but for me personally, I have not had membership for like over a week now. I'm still waiting on the community manager to give me my 1 year of membership for being an extra credits, but Kaz dragging their heels on that, so I guess we're in Crocotopia today instead of Aquila. But anyway, the new update, people just sort of aren't real optimistic about the devs' general choices going forward. And this was shown to me in the results of the poll that I did on Sunday. And it's only been about, 36 hours or so since I posted that poll, but 261 people have responded to it, and it's gone 31% for positively and 69% for negatively. And this number is sort of fluctuated, but it's mostly just sort of settled around this number. And there were some comments on this poll that I do think shed some light on sort of what the people are thinking of what's wrong with the update. And of course, I've already mentioned, like the spell element drop rates. I think this is the worst they've ever been for any update for any spell ever. And I mean, even the people who are wailing on the packs, like Devo, a buddy of mine, he spent a lot of money. Like, he spent I think he said it was something like 40,000 crowns. I don't even know what the full number is, but he spent a lot of money on the pack and only got some of his spells to like tier 1, maybe tier 2. So yeah, people aren't really confident in the developers with this update, and I guess let's go ahead and read some of the comments, just because that's kind of what we came here for. So alright, so people have been saying, as someone who's not farming the spells to max or even tier 2, I enjoyed my time getting the challenge mode badges and want to grind out a few of the new pets as well. I've also heard that the challenge mode badges are buggy, so that's real awesome. But, maybe those will get ironed out pretty quick. I would hope so. Anyway, so I'm enjoying what I'm interacting with, but if I were just farming Sisyphus for 12 hours a day, I'm sure it'd be different. That's another thing. People have been farming this new boss Sisyphus for exorbitant amounts of time, and it's really just been sort of, people just don't like the drop rates, and it's really no surprise, because it's like I was saying, it's like, well, like 3 spell elements a run. And yeah, I I've heard that the actually running Mount Olympus will get you some more. But another thing I've heard, speaking of Mount Olympus, is the fact that the gear drop rates got nerfed in Mount Olympus because of this update. I don't know if that was intentional, but Zeus would always drop at least one Senator or Zeus piece of gear for your school if you were running it at level 30, that sort of thing. And if that's gone, that really affects gear progression early game, because Olympus is the first sort of stop in the game for good gear. It's like up to this point you're using bazaar gear, maybe pack gear if you're, you know, buying packs early on, which you shouldn't be, but it's like Olympus, at the very least, you could get some good gear from that. But I guess if the drop rates on that have been nerfed after, what is it, 12 years, something like that, it's certainly been a while, but 12 years and the drop rates are just now getting nerfed, it's like, okay, what are we doing? So yeah, I hope that's not the case. I haven't run Olympus in a while, so definitely in the comments confirm or deny whether that rumor about the Olympus drop rates for level 30 just in standard mode being slashed is true. But I hope it's not, because I do plan on remaking my gear guide once Darkmoor comes out, so I would like to be able to still include Olympus as a viable spot for gear. So yeah, anyway. Yeah, so the spell limit drop rates, of course, all of this that I'm hearing about Olympus's drop rates being cut, it's not good. And people are definitely not responding in kind to this update, as seen by the results of the poll, of course, being 31 to 69. That is about, what is that, 40, no, that is 38 points underwater. That's not where you want to be for an update. It wasn't as bad as the poll I did for the spring update, but it is worse off than the one that I did for the summer update, just sort of at large, back when that was coming out in June. So people really just don't like the Aquila Chronicle update. Much less so, in fact, than the summer update. There are certainly voters on my two polls that voted positively for the summer update and negatively for the Aquila Chronicle update. And that, I would hope, is something that the devs will see and be like, oh, you know, well, what could have caused this? And I'm sure, well, I'm not sure, actually. I think that the devs will maybe understand this and get a grip, but I don't know if I'm optimistic. I think they see the issues in front of them, but I don't know if they're actually going to capitalize on that. So the first comment that I actually got on this from Ryan Wizard staff reads, when they announced it, positively, after they released it, in 2 parts a month apart, mind you, negatively. This update had so much potential, using old spell animations for spells previously locked behind Triangle Jewels rewarded from the Zeus Exalted challenge. They even updated the animation on a couple of them and changed the balance one entirely to fit their modern standards. But it seems like they have fumbled the bag with every opportunity of this update. It released a month after the rest of the summer update content and still had bugs on launch, which is wild. On top of this, you can't even outright learn your respective school's spell upon completion of Tartarus. This is actually an interesting point that Ryan made, and I do agree with it. I think if you were to learn your respective spell after you finish Tartarus, it would sort of come off as like a Darkmoor-y type of thing, and I think that would attract some more people to the Aquila dungeons after Olympus. Of course, it would be an even better incentive to do them now if this rumor about the Olympus gear drop rates is true. But anyway, he also says, they are forcing you to either farm or open packs for spell elements to even learn the base spell, which is laughable. There should have just been a trainer NPC added in Aquila to at least teach you your respective school spell for free, and any additional ones you want for training points. It could have easily been restricted till after you beat Tartarus, a badge requirement, which makes sense, and then the player could choose whether or not to grind for or open packs for additional spell elements to upgrade them. But not being able to outright learn the spell after completing Tartarus was a stupid decision, and they should definitely reconsider their current approach, in my opinion. Yeah, this honestly is the crux of a lot of people's arguments against this update, and honestly, like, there are some good ideas posted in this comment, like the idea of being able to, you know, learn the spell of your school after you finish Tartarus, I think that's a good idea. And I hope that maybe the devs eventually go for this. But again, not terribly optimistic about that. And then, yeah, there were also just some other like valid concerns about how the summer update sort of came out in 2 parts, but part 1 was looked upon much more favorably compared to part 2, and that I think is also understandable. And yeah, that more or less sums up that comment. Other people were saying, you know, I was so excited for it to get a spell for Aquila, only to get a spellement instead. 1 spellement for all 7 of my wizards. I'm not okay with that. So yeah, just making these spells hard to get is what a lot of people don't like about the update. So yeah, I mean, it goes back to just everything we've been saying. Yeah, the fact that... Okay, so this is where the Mount Olympus gear thing came from this comment. The fact that farming Mount Olympus now is an absolute waste, since you now rarely get senator gear, and if you get one, you have to hope it is at least for your school. Every update lately just has a nice title, but the changes they are making in this game are decisions that no one wanted. Again, definitely tell me in the comments if the drop rates from Mount Olympus are actually like super bad, because I haven't had time to run it since I don't have membership, and it's been 2 weeks since I asked the community manager for the code that I qualified for back in April. But anyway, yeah, so... Oh, there was one more thing. Sayoni says, I was really excited for the new spells and new Aquila stuff in general, but they only released the raid first and made us wait 1 month for the rest of it, and even after that, the drop rates are terrible. Servers kept going down. That's also true. And don't forget about the infinite gold bug, which made them disable it. Dude, how does this keep happening? The Bazaar got turned off earlier this year because of an infinite gold bug, and now the Aquila update got turned off. No, it did get turned off. Like the Bazaar wasn't just gone. It was like the servers went down to fix that. But yeah, it's like these infinite gold bugs that keep popping up. And yeah, Sayona continues by saying, spells are my favorite part personally because I use the Wraith of God spells a lot. But since the drop rates are pretty bad right now and there's 7 spells, yeah. Positive at first, I was so excited, but now it's kind of negative. Devs need to get themselves in gear, or we need some new ones. And I agree with that sentiment at the end wholeheartedly. So, yeah, just people's complaints about the spells, the acquisition of the spells, and the general quality of the update is mostly just sort of what's been the issue that people have had with this update. And I think that the devs really do need to start listening, and maybe they are. Maybe these drop rates on the spell elements are not intentional, but it's been 6 days and multiple maintenances, and I'm not really optimistic if the drop rates are going to be going up. So I guess we'll see. We'll find out. I hope they do, and I hope they don't, because like I said at the beginning, I hope they don't, because PvP will get ruined by everybody and their dog using Fires of Mars, and Jade's using Phoebus' Will, Path B to just sort of go crazy with it. But I also hope that they do increase the drop rates for the spells, because there is seriously no point for the drop rates to be this low on spells that people have been anticipating and wanting for a while, and liking in the summer test realm. So I think that about wraps up, though. I kind of yapped and went over some comments, but overall I think that'll wrap up. So thank y'all for watching. I've been Ice Gold. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave like 50 comments for the algorithm. My Discord is down in the description if you want to chat with me some more, and I will see y'all later.